It's a hot spring day and I'm walking through a rice field in Kienzang province in the southwest of the Mekong Delta. The path is lined with lots of yellow and purple flowers. I'm on my way to meet some farmers who for the last few years have relied on these plants to protect their crops from some very nasty pests. Husband and wife team Nguyen Van Rai and Nguyen Thi Hai farm about half a hectare of rice here. We sit outside their small concrete home in Chum Hoa village, sipping homemade lemonade and talking about the local rice business. Rai tells me that before he started planting flowers to fight pests here, things used to be very different.
We started using pesticides in 1978. At that time, if there were too many brown plant hoppers, we used to use gasoline to kill them. We actually poured it into the water.
Brown plant hoppers are a winged pest which devastate rice crops across Asia by sucking the sap until the plants shrivel and die, causing discoloured patches on the field known as hopper burn. The insects also transmit deadly viruses to the plants. For decades, rice farmers here have sprayed pesticides to improve yields, but this has had other effects too, killing wildlife and affecting farmers' health. But early insecticide sprays directed at leaf-feeding insects kill brown plant hopper predators, leaving the pest unchecked.
In 2009 and 2010, we were hit hard by hopper burn. We invested money in fertilizer, seed, labour, and when there was hopper burn, it completely destroyed the crop. We lost everything.
To fight the pest, local scientists are turning to ecological engineering. Their idea was to reduce pesticide use to conserve biodiversity, and at the same time provide food and shelter to natural predators by growing nectar flowers on either side of the paths between the rice paddies, called buns. The project started across Asia in 2008, with experiments in China and later Vietnam and Thailand. More recently, the Philippines also launched a project. Rai and Hai are now one of 45 families here in Kienzang province that use this method to fight pests. On a micro level, ecological engineering works a little like this. A plant hopper predator, like the tiny parasitoid wasp for instance, gets the pollen and honey from the flower. After living in the nectar flower on the bund, they lay their eggs inside the plant hopper eggs. The wasp larvae consumes the unhatched plant hopper, and so numbers are kept in check. The project is working so well that in December of last year, Vietnamese authorities decided to enlarge the project from rice production to include vegetable farms too. Dang Tang Phom is from the Plant Protection Department in An Giang province and says that expanding the project to include vegetable farms will have real benefits.
The project with rice started here a while back. This is the first time that we are doing the same thing on vegetable farms. The pesticide usage level in vegetable growing is much higher than in rice production. They spray once every 3 or 4 days.
But one problem is how to target specific pests, Phom says.
This is difficult for us at the moment because we currently don't know which kind of parasites live in certain flowers, and which parasites can affect pests on different vegetables. This is the first time we are doing the project, and we are growing only one kind of flower.
Here, not far from the banks of the Mekong River, a narrow track leads through fields of spinach, herbs and chili plants, lined every metre of the way with those familiar yellow nectar flowers. Thanks to a concerted publicity campaign involving billboards, leaflets and even a television series, more than 7,800 farmers now practice ecological engineering farming in Vietnam, authorities boast. Rice farmer Rai says he can see that it's a real success. The brown plant hopper is now one of only a few pests still active.
There are no other insects that give us problems because many natural enemies come here now, especially in the early morning. You can see many predators, especially bees.
Still, some farmers in his community continue to use pesticides, Rai says. He thinks that's because they don't trust the fragrant flowers to be better than their trusted sprays. And there's no doubting that it will take time before the results of ecological engineering can prove whether it has been a success or not, especially with the vegetable farmers. Hopes are high that, just like in the area of rice production, these sorts of projects could set a precedent for all farmers across Vietnam. Marianne Brown, DW, Mekong Delta, Vietnam.